Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's been about a week since I made a video. We're doing something a little different tonight. We're going to talk about a little bit of spoilers on that last Game of Thrones episode, the current one, Season 8, Episode 4. And just some of the things we felt about it real quick. Overall, I think it was a pretty decent episode, I guess. Pretty average. Apparently, it's been rated. I saw a couple resources were saying it's the lowest rated Game of Thrones episode of all time, which is pretty bad. So I'm sure you've all heard the hype by now. A lot of people are not happy with this season. I mean, personally, for me, it's fine. I do would want to see some more traditional Game of Thrones content put in this last two episodes. But I mean, these episodes are done. Whatever is done with them is done. I guess they could still edit them, but I doubt there's any reshoots going on right now. So what's pretty much what's already made is what we're gonna see. So who knows? I've heard there's spoilers out there. I didn't look at any of them. I don't really want to know. I'm not a super fan of the show. I don't read the books. Everything I know is from the TV show, so I don't have any book knowledge on it. But overall, that episode started off pretty good. We had the beginning was probably the funeral scene was probably the best part of the episode, honestly, in my opinion. This good little send off. I kind of wish they would have. Granted, they weren't the Night's Watch, but it would have been kind of nice if they said like, "Now your watch is over," like they always do with the other funerals. But I get it; they weren't actually the crows. If that's what we want to call them, but the Night's Watch. But yeah, and then the drinking scene, that's fun. Everything in that episode in the beginning was pretty much okay with me. So where it starts getting a little iffy is towards when they're having the drama about the truth about Jon Snow, and then there's a lot of cuts, so you never actually hear Sansa say something to Tyrion. You never hear when he confronts the two sisters, and then with Bran, you don't hear you never hear anything. So it's kind of weird. So you don't really know what they said, but we get the gist. So the worst part of this episode, I'm going to cut to it, was the ambush scene where Huron's fleet ambushes their fleet, and I just thought it was, pretty tactically. Tactically was pretty horrible. There's just no physical way she didn't see that fleet on top of the dragon. There's just no way. Because when you look down from their point of view later, she sees them like right there. So that was bad. Bad craft with the film, the filming of the episode and how they wanted to do the CGI and all that. It was all CGI, but and then how accurate that he can fire those arrows, the scorpions from that far away was. When you look down from her point of view, you're looking at least 2 miles away. There's no way that you're gonna get that accuracy with that kind of weaponry, ancient weaponry. So that was fake. Unbelievable. I did not believe that at all. That he hit 3 direct hits in a row on that dragon at that distance. They're loading those things like they're. I've seen History Channel, reenactments of loading catapults and things like that, and not anywhere in any of those documentaries I've watched over the years were they loading siege weaponry like that fast. That also wasn't believable that they can get more shots off that fast. And then on top of that, why didn't she just fly around the cropping of the rocks in the ocean? Just outmaneuver, cut to the right, cut around the mountain, and then they didn't have any weaponry on the back, so she could have just came right around the rear, flew the dragon around, and flamed the whole fleet. They couldn't have done anything. Fly real low to the water. They wouldn't have been able to do anything. And if you were really smart, what you could have did, because she fled, You could have just parked on a rock or a nearby mountain and wait for it to become nighttime and take the dragon in at night and just follow the fleet from a far distance away. Wait for nighttime. Go in low to the water. They're done. So it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I mean, you can go back to a lot of episodes and nitpick, but it was just they left it so obvious that you open like that for critique. On the other, the past seasons, you could probably critique a lot of stuff, but they just didn't leave it open that much for you to really worry about it. It was so obvious in this episode of how tactically inept they were that it was just too easy to bust on them. But I like the visuals and everything. I mean, it's hard to say where they're going to go with who actually gets the Iron Throne. Granted, HBO has a history of ruining show endings. Sopranos, True Blood, which I love that show. They ruined the heck out of that ending. They started killing everybody off. Those of you who ever watched it, great show, horrible ending. Sopranos, great show, horrible ending. What's another show that was on HBO that had the same? I don't know. I've only really watched that many HBO shows, to tell you the truth. They always compare it to Dexter. People are comparing because I guess it's the same guys who created Dexter. I only watched the first season of Dexter, and then I stopped watching it. But other than that, the acting's good, and then they kill the end when they confront the gates of King's Landing in the episode. Pretty dumb move tactically to go out there when they have a whole garrison with the scorpions ready to kill them. Didn't make any sense why Cersei just didn't waste them all right there. The dragon was way close enough to hit it with those weapons. But other than that, once you saw Missandei was captured, you knew she was a goner. So that was obviously coming. I thought they might have, for a second there, I thought they were gonna kill Tyrion, but then I was like, nah, it's too soon. She's gonna want him to suffer. So I figured that would be later, and then I realized and then she didn't kill him. But other than that, that was just the whole setup was pretty a letdown. At the end too, it just the naval ambush, horrible. That was lame. I mean, overall, I liked the episode, but I don't know. This is. I don't know. We'll see where this goes in the next few episodes. So we got Sunday night. I'm gonna try and make that night. I'm gonna make a video reviewing that one. So try to get it out there a little faster. But if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. Help me out. I'm still trying to build up this channel. I don't have many subscribers yet. Just trying to build it up, and like the video. If you have any ideas of what they should have actually did. My idea of her just flying around behind the fleet, using the mountains to cover, come back around, or wait till nighttime, keep your distance from the fleet, wait till night. I don't understand it. You have that type of advantage on a weapon like that dragon. Why wouldn't you use nighttime to your advantage? Because there's no night vision, The enemy doesn't have night vision. The dragon can see at night, we're assuming. So that you won't have to worry about him running into a mountain or crack. Because even if you're flying him, it doesn't really ever talk about that, but most animals that fly have good vision. In reality, so except for bats, but they have a good sound system. So either way, they'll be able to get out of the way of stuff. Yeah, so it's pretty much sight or incredible sound for all flying, mammals all have decent vision, right? You have to if you're going to be flying around that fast. So, yeah, and that's not a mammal. Obviously, it's a reptile, a dragon, but same, you get the gist of what I'm saying. But, yeah, it didn't make any sense, but oh well. Overall, I give that episode I give it a 7 out of 10. I'm going to be nice to it, personally. A lot of people hated on the episode 3. I got what they're coming from. some on the reviews. I did not mind Arya killing the Night King at all. I did feel like they were padding us a lot in the editing. They're padding a lot of the scenes, the extended out to get to that extended episode. You could obviously tell in the editing they were just extending out the stuff to get to the drama, to get to that extended episode. But you get it ain't a movie, it ain't a real Hollywood movie, so they got limited budget on these episodes, so it's not. If you think about the money they put into it and the budgets they have, and they're really putting out a pretty decent a product, considering that it's not a $100 million funded movie, but they're almost the length of a real movie, but they're only they're like 10 million, I think. I don't know, I have to look up the numbers, but so I gave them a break with it. We'll see what this next episode goes. I don't know how they're gonna end this off. At this point, from what I've heard, a lot of people are going to be disappointed. I don't know the spoilers, but I've just heard other people say that have read the trailers. If it happens, the spoilers that they're out, apparently, that people are not going to be happy. As long as one of the good guys ends up on the throne, one of the sisters, or Jon Snow, or Daenerys, just as long as not one of the bad guys wins, I'll be okay with that, because there's really only a handful of people that could take the throne, right? So you have Daenerys, Jon Snow. I guess you could. Well, the Stark sisters, they don't have a claim to the throne. So you have Gendry. So maybe he could come back and take over the throne. Maybe. Who else has a claim to it? I mean, other than the Lannisters. Right, Tyrion, or if she's the queen, right? So Jaime or Tyrion could take over. But they're all kind of good guys now, so I guess really the only bad person that would take over is if Cersei wins and stays on the throne, right? That could be the ending that they're talking about. Who knows? But we'll see. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'm gonna make another video after Sunday night for you guys. All right, thanks.